Okay, guys, it's Jack X, Offsuit Gaming, Offsuit Poker, sorry. Back again for another fun lesson in the from becoming a small fish in a, well, let's be clear, we're not even in a pond right now, we're in like a puddle. Becoming a small little tadpole in a puddle into hopefully one day being a, shark in the sea. But today we're going to go over, we have a roughly 20 hand session we're going to go over. Once again, kind of towards our goal, buying in for $10 with the goal, with the hope of trying to double up that during our session and trying to get out with about $20. Trying to shoot for about that hour time frame of play. So we're gonna go through recap some hands now. I think some of the things to keep in to kind of set the context of how I got to where we were in today's position. To start with, I've been kind of watching some tables, waiting for a spot to come open. But I'd also noticed that most of the two tables that were both going and both had six players, both of them had kind of players that have been grinding the regular players that have been grinding the table all day, and several folks above at least double above the buy-in at $20 a couple, at least each table had a stack of 40 plus. So I was kind of didn't really want to drop into there and be kind of like the small stack, even just at the max buy-in. So I did wait, and I ended up seeing a third table open. I saw two people hop in. One of them's somewhat regular. We see kind of grinding with us this fold, and then we saw another person in there. They were both pretty even stacked to the buy-in. So we decided that's where we were gonna go. So we hopped in. We ended up being a big blind in our first go, and so we're gonna hop into hand one here. Big blind, and we actually get. Oh, one other thing I want to talk about before we hop in, you'll notice I've done a small little update to the screen. As I mentioned, I am not going to be, complete GTO analysis on here, but I think it's, good to have some good, strong fundamentals. So one of the things I've put is a pre-flop chart down here. This is really, we should be kind of grading ourselves on how we do. And so that's one of the cool things we're going to do is we're going to kind of basically see how do we do, and do we over the course of these 20 hands, how many of them do we actually do kind of the right play on. So we can see now, obviously, big blind, you pretty much get your choice of what you want to play there, right? But we are going to be kind of, so we'll just see where we go. First hand, we get ace jack. Obviously, that's not a bad starting hand, especially three-handed. I think you can expect that to be a pretty strong hand most of the time, right? Like, probably fold to some 4-5 bets, but we're at least going to get it in and see what goes in. And so then we'll kind of see what happens with the action, and then we'll see. I think we're going to see two limps to us. So we'll see two. Oh, we see one call. We do a 3x. They fold to us. We take the pot. Obviously, we would love to see some action, but we can see right away we do get the table rolling. So we're up to full six-handed. That will then put us in the small blind. 5-3. I mean, I think that's a pretty obvious example of what we're going to do here. So, oops, sorry about that. All right, so 5-3. I think it's a pretty easy example of what we're going to do here. We're going to fold that. Now of course, the interesting thing here is we would have actually won this one, but whatever. So now it comes to us, King 8 in the button. This isn't necessarily one of the best hands. I think this is on like the lower end of the range that you want to be playing in terms of off-suited stuff. But hey, we hit a king or two on the flop, and we're in a pretty nice position. So I think this is one we can at least mix in some. We're not going to limp in here, unless we're really trying to trap this hand and hope to get lucky, maybe in like a later. But we can come in here and we do a nice little raise. Um, so We put in just, a nice little 3x raise. It then works around. We've had some, just FYI, we had some other regulars join us. Beards, Nuts, and Wood are all kind of people we've seen grinding table this. We go three-way best way to the flop of a Jack 10 Queen rainbow. And, while we didn't hit anything, we obviously have, an open-ended straight draw at this point. Not bad for us. So we'll then see, so I think this is something we're definitely going to want to make a continuation bet on, and not even a continuation bet, but actually, kind of see if we can get this baby down to heads up, and then try to hit either, an ace, because there's a good chance that at least one of the other players in this hand did have some sort of face card X and has now hit at least a pair here, putting us behind at least to the initial flop. So we'll see a check. We'll see a raise to 90 cents, and we actually really love this. I think this is one of the places where we could probably try to re-raise here if we wanted to try to maybe get Beard out. But it's also a kind of place where we don't mind just calling this and seeing what comes on the turn. So we go ahead and put in the turn. We would go ahead and put in the call. And then Beard will go ahead and call as well. The turn comes the ace. That does give us the straight. So now, there is the potential flush draw on the board that we've got to worry about. I think it's much more likely that one person had an overpair, maybe got really lucky and has a set right now, and is hoping for the board to pair, and then the other person's probably on that. I'm splitting them with that draw the straight right now. So we'll go ahead and we'll see what happens as the action comes around to us. So we're gonna go ahead and put in, a good half, good half pot size bet. Which, thinking about it, I think if we're trying, this is probably more of a value bet at this point. I don't think we're really scaring anyone off. Maybe someone that's completely off of it, but anyone that has anything, I think, anyone that's hoping for the board to pair for a boat or going for that flush draw is probably not just getting out at this point. Though, one thing that we want to do keep in mind here is that Beers is now getting kind of low. So if he calls this, that's then going to put him basically about, $1.50 left. So we can probably expect him to push then on the, push all in on the river on us. So we've got to be really careful then if that board pairs and he ends up having the boat. That puts us in a really bad position. So I think that's just one of the things to kind of think about, where you always want to have a story in the hand of what you're kind of trying to do here. We obviously started telling this story that, hey, we also had the straight here. So let's see what Beard wants to do. Beard's gonna fold. It's gonna fold around to us. He's gonna show the jack. The queen does come pairing the board. That would have been gross because that could have been a flush. That could have been a boat for someone. But that is a nice little $2.12 win to us as we go into hand number four. And so far, that is 4 for 4 hands we've been doing good on. All right, so as we'll come to hand number, sorry, that was hand number three. Hand number four, we're going to be in the cutoff. We're going to get ace seven offsuited. So I think this is one of those ones where this is one of those hands I'll probably play later in the position, especially knowing Beard as from the other times that I've seen him. I can usually he won't call with too much. He doesn't seem to flex on the button too much, so we know there's a good chance he'll probably be out, especially if we put in a raise, and that will put us in position for this hand. So that would put us in a pretty good spot. So when it comes around to us, we're gonna go ahead. Well, actually, we end up being under the gun in this case, but we're gonna go ahead and put in just a little bit of a raise here, a nice little 3x to get the ball rolling. We see a fold, a call, and we'll get a call from fold as well. And the board comes 10-3-9 monotone spades. You know, obviously we miss, but we hit a little bit in that we've got the flush draw, though our seven's pretty weak on it. And then we also have the backdoor, or not even backdoor. We just have also no, we do have the backdoor, the backdoor straight draw as well. So we're not in a bad place. You know, we would have obviously loved to have seen this hit a little bit better for us. But when it comes around to us, we're going to obviously put in that continuation bet. Here, we do it once again a half pot size bet. You know, I think this is more of just, you know, to keep start putting money in the pot. This isn't specifically to drive action one way or another. Sorry, give me one second. Let me move my charts here. So as we see, technically we were, you know, under the gun. So under the gun, A7, we probably definitely shouldn't have been playing that. Um, you know, in technically in the cutoff, I think we were just in where we could have played it, right? Just a little bit, but you know, we can see that was just at the edge of our range there, but technically, so just something to keep in mind. Especially if this end hand up going bad. So we do see one call where heads up to the turn, which comes the seven of clubs, pairing our seven, giving us 1-7 on the board. And obviously not necessarily what didn't really help progress us much, though it did give us a little tiny amount of showdown value. Showdown value being where, you know, if at that point you think you potentially have a hand that can at least potentially when you don't think it's the best, but it's at least good enough to stand for a little bit of value. Usually that's where you'll check it down and so forth. So we have a little bit of showdown value here, but we're really hoping that spade shows up. Though at that point it might be really painful for fold, as they could easily have the higher spade here and any sort of ace x opportunity. All right, and let's come back around and see what Fold wants to do. Fold's going to check to us, so we're going to once again bet. Put in once again. It's a pretty probably should have gone a little bit more aggressive to try to push them off here. Instead, we do not even half pot size bet. So once again, this is probably just more value betting, which is probably not the best story we want to be telling here. But we're going to come. The river's going to come the 9, so doesn't help us at all. We're now in a spot where we probably just have to decide, we're going to bet big like we had it all along, and we've just been value betting them. Or, do we want to just check it here and see if we do have the value? I decided to go with the check to see if we had the showdown value. We actually were good in this case. As we can see, they were kind of going for that same draw, the same flush draw we were. And we can see we were actually in a really bad place if that had hit. As both Beards and Foldit would have been in a much better position and would have taken us there. So we got really lucky, but once again, that's kind of probably a poor example of showdown value, but it was what it was. We were able to get a little money in the pot every turn except the last one. And we end up taking in a nice little $1.50 hand, even though technically we probably should not have been playing that hand per GTO. So next we're going to come to hand number 5. We're going to be in the hijack. Let me move our charts a little bit. We're going to be in the hijack. We're going to have 7, so this is definitely something that we're going to at least raise with here and get a little action going. I think one of the things I'm beginning to learn at this table is that a 3x, 4x bet, 30, 40 cent bet isn't really much different than a mid bet here. If we really want to be showing strength with our hands, we probably really need to be in the 50 cent more range, probably more in the $75 range. It's something to keep in mind if we really want to start telling the story about the higher pocket pairs and so forth. So we'll see what happens, and we'll go a fold, a call, a fold, a call. We'll go 3-way to the flop, which beautifully we can already see the 7 in the window, giving us the set, and boom. we hit the boat. So the only thing we really have to be worried about here is ace 7 at this point, which we already got two blockers to. Um, so, given that we already see three of the sevens on the board, with a pretty good chance we block any possibility that wood or tomato has one. So, this is definitely what we love to see here. Now, once again, it's kind of on us. We probably should, place at least a continuation bet here. But we decided to check it. I think this is one of those times where we probably punted a little bit. We should have got some money onto the table, kept it going. But as we can see, it actually checked all the way around. And now our kind of hope is maybe something will come that will give an opponent some hope. Something to keep them interested in which they'll start betting. Turn comes a six of spades, not really doing anything, though opening up a potential straight draw, which we don't hate to see. There's obviously still the one thing we didn't talk about during the flop was there was the flush draw that came in. Both of those we'd love to see people chasing after. So while it doesn't help progress our hand at all, it does probably help put us in a better position as it's going to progress other people's hands while we still have a much better hand than them. We can't say we have the nuts because, as I mentioned, a seven would have us beat. Obviously, pocket aces have us just drawing dead, but I don't think that's one of the ones we're necessarily going to be worried about here. So we're going to see it's going to come to us. We're obviously going to place the bet, build the pot. Now, once again, half pot size bet. This is probably just once again more value betting than anything else. But that's actually where I want to probably be at this point is trying to keep people in and build the pot. Sadly, we can see we get one call, one fold. The river's going to come to 10. Not really doing anything. 8, 9 got the straight, so, it does come in the straight, but I think at this point, I don't really put Tomato on chasing the straight. I put him on, like an ace high card, hoping he would, hit something, or, hopefully, maybe like X6, X7, so it's gonna be on us. We should place a bet here. We're gonna once again do a half pot size bet. That's one of the things I really gotta learn to start doing is looking to more into pot sizing because I think that's one of the places where I currently really miss. But let's see if he takes the bait. He's gonna call. We're gonna show the sevens full house. We're gonna take it, and that's a nice $2.72. We're going to clear off that hand, which we definitely love. All right, that's going to take us to hand number 6. We're going to be under the gun. So we'll go ahead and come to the next hand. We'll see an ace 2 offsuit. So this is one of those ones where once again, definitely gonna play this hand a lot, or seeing an ace is tempted to play, an ace 2, 3, 4, 5, is any sort of straight possibility, which is great. So definitely one we're really tempted to play. Now, obviously, if we look at the actual GTO charts here, we're under the gun, ace 2 off. We shouldn't be anywhere near this hand. We wouldn't even be playing ace 2 suited. So that's one of the things to keep in mind as, when we do go ahead and place the bet here. Maybe we could have limped in. We actually do end up limping in, so that was definitely a miss on our part. Flop's going to come 8, King 9 monotone, so we completely missed, and the king on the board, there's a high likelihood that one of the other two people had king X and were limping in. So pretty good chance, especially being the button. The one thing we can keep in mind, small blind, his range is much bigger, but and so is the button. But we should probably definitely be assuming that we are last in the line right now. So we gotta really keep that in mind. We're gonna see a bet of 20 cents to us. This is one of those ones where I think, we might as well do it, but we're actually going to 3 exit to kind of represent that, hey, we were the initial better here. Let's represent that this did hit us. There's a very easy chance for us to have had King X, anything, pocket eights, pocket nines, right? They just saw us. We did limp in with pocket sevens, so probably pocket pairs is a little bit unlikely. So probably the more likely play is like a 9x, 8x, or King X here. So we come in with the re-raise, we get called. We're going to see a turn of a 10, which, doesn't help us at all. In fact, really puts us in a worse place because there's just more of a chance someone hits something right. And now there's the obvious straight, seven jack, jack queen is another obvious one. So we're in a really bad place right here. It's going to get checked to us. We're going to check it back. The five comes. We've got nothing here. So now it's basically a point, are we going to try to bluff this? We fold when he throws the $1.06 out. And, you know, I don't think we were going to necessarily buy him off of that one. We probably should just, that's one of those lessons. We should have just never been in there at all. And that's going to cost us some money. All right. So we're going to come to the big blind. We're going to be hand seven big blind, jack two suited. Even in the small blind, this isn't something that you would, really normally consider. It's kind of right on that pushing it as a bluff. And so that's really where we're going to take this hand. First, we'll see what the action is, kind of hoping maybe someone raises to us and we can call. We don't necessarily want to get super aggressive with this because really should not be in our range. But we can see what happens. It's going to come to us. We did see that there was the raise from Beard there. So we'll kind of call that, see what the pot comes. 2, 3, 8, 2, 3 clubs. We hit bottom pair. Not really much we want to see here. We're out of position. So we're going to just check it. It's going to end up checking around. We'll see the turn come the five. The straight's up there now, but that doesn't help us as our twos are a counterfeit. So once again, we don't really have much going on here. Basically, but we are going to throw out a bet, try basically represent that we had limped in, with maybe like a ace six or something, a 6-7, or sorry, ace four, 4-6 suited, any of those sort of things. We can also kind of represent the flush draw here in case that comes in. Start telling that story a little bit. Probably should have done a little bit more aggressive sizing on the bet. We get called by fold it. The six comes. There is no flush that comes in. So, but now there's, the straight 4x does it, you know, um, 7-9 does it. There's a lot of possibilities here. So, we could try to represent that. And so once again, we push out a bet. Once this time we do about a 75% bet. Probably should have over betted at that point, because chances are this is going to get called. Now we get lucky, we get the fold here. We're going to take the hand, a nice little $1.08 in a hand we should have probably really never been playing with. But that's the nice part about the big blind, though. It can be a little tempting. It can be a little, tempting to play bad hands that when they marginally hit, you're then stuck in a position like that. So really something to keep in mind, that if you're going to start telling a story and you're going to kind of come in, you have to continuously tell that story. You can't limp in and then all of a sudden at the end try to bluff your opponent off it. You have to really be representing the strong hand all along to tell that story and convince them. All right, so we're going to be in a small blind. This time we're going to see Jack 6. So this is one of those ones where, definitely something we can play. On the weaker end, any sort of higher face card, X pairs, and we kind of lose. But we can see what's going on, what we want to do. And it'll come around to us. We're going to just limp in. And actually, we can see here, limping was GTO solution. So that was nice to see that we did do the right thing here when we were, as we kind of come back and review the playback. Let's see what it hits. 777. We get none of that. I mean, we have the flush draw here, not bad, but anyone with a pocket pair just hit a boat. We're smoked. That's kind of just a killer flop, as in it just kills all the action. Someone's either got the nuts or, they've got nothing. We're gonna check. It's gonna check the beard. Beard's gonna check and float a perk. We see a queen. Now anyone on Queen X just hit a boat. So, we could start representing that maybe if we wanted. But once again, we're just gonna check it around. Ace pretty much guarantees that we do not have it. But hey, place out a little small bet. I mean, pot's nothing at this point, so we might as well chance. And then we see, oh, board actually plays. We split it as the Jack 9 versus our Jack 2 suit. All right, now we're gonna be on to hand number 9. We're gonna be on the button. We're gonna get an Ace 9 off. So let's see what the action does. Fold it is going to limp in. We'll go to wood. We'll see a raise there. And then as we come to nuts, we'll see what they're going to do. They'll call. We're actually going to re-raise that to represent a nice little good hand. We get a call, a fold, a fold. Then we'll see what's going to happen with the original razor wood. He goes all in. Nuts goes all in. They called it. We effed up. We just bail out. We have no right to be in here, and we can see we would have just been smoked. Ace Queen, Ace King, Ace 9, even Queen 10, would not have been a great place for us at all. So, and I think that's probably why that cost us, 60 cents. If we had hit an ace here, that we save money in the long run. So, that might not have been the best play, but it's one of those ones where I think we are probably gonna end up in the better spot here. Just for fun, we'll kind of see how this runs out. They're going to run it once, so it's going to come 2, 3, 4. So everyone would have had the straight, the 8, the 7, no love. Ace King would have taken it all, and that would have just been bad beat city. All right, next hand we're going to come is hand 10. We're in the cutoff. We've got Jack 6 suited. Sorry, one second. All right. We're going to be Jack 6 suited. We'll see a limp, a fold. It's going to come to us. We're going to put in the raise. Hopefully, we can get beards out, be in position. We get a call back to the original limper. He's going to go all in for 49 cents. We've got Jack 6 suited. I would definitely love to be like Ace X, King X coming into this, so that way if you had like a pocket pair, mid, a lower pocket pair, we're at least 50-50. But for 49 cents, we're going to do it now. The obvious choice here is we could have then gone all in ourselves and to try to push perk off, but I don't like that play here. Our hand is definitely not at all that straight, not at all that great. Especially if we look here, being in the cutoff, Jack 6 suited. Nope, we should have checked that. That was a clear miss, And that's where we're hoping Perk's going to get out, because heads up, this is one of the things where I think you have to be a little bit exploitative, think about what's going on in the larger thing. Small stack, he's pushing on, and he could have anything. Now the hope is that sadly we get 3 callers, 10, 2, 6 hearts. We get middle pair. We do have the flush draw checks to us. We want to probably try to get at least one of these folks off. So we're going to put in a little bit of 50% bet here. We get one of them off. We get folded still in it. We get the flush draws going here, so we at least have that come in. And we're going to check it though. The 8 comes. We don't get it, and that doesn't help at all. 7 9 now has a straight. 9 Jack now has a straight. Um, so there's that, but we don't really have a lot going on here, and we still have to worry about wood. So we kind of got to decide what we're going to do here. I think this is where we could, either try to push them off or try to push them off. I think we need to do more than 50. A value bet here is not going to do it. We don't have the value hand. Now we get real lucky and we push folded off. And they show their hand, and as we expected, right? They're pushing in 50 cents. Ace for, they didn't really have, but they had the ace they were hoping for. So I would have really loved for us to have an ace now. We get lucky. That's going to be good enough for us to take it. So we're gonna get a nice little 227 on a hand. We should not have even been playing it at all, but that's one of those things where you can't always just play GTO. You have to be a little bit of exploitative of the situation, right? You got and one of the other things, and this is where I'm not always the best at. You always need to be taking in consideration who's the low stack, especially when there is short stacks at the table, right? Like, you know, are they gonna put? How are they gonna respond to any of your action? If you put in a small little min bet, chances are they're gonna rejam on you. Now you're in an awkward spot. So something to keep in mind, right? Especially as you learn to become bigger fish. Look out for the smaller fish because they can get a little bit crazy. All right, we're gonna go down to five-handed. We're gonna be under the gun here for hand number 11. Jack 7 off. I think this is a pretty easy fold here. And as we look at it, under the gun, yeah, Jack 7's just nowhere that we're going to be at all. So we drop that fold. Not a bad thing. All right. Next hand, we're going to get 10-8 in the on the button. Not really, much to do here. We have some potential, but it's weakling. I think this is one of those ones we don't really want to do much here. 1 second, click the wrong button. So we're gonna just go ahead and check it. And as we actually look, so we can see we were under the gun. 10-8. Yeah, we really should not have been playing this hand. So you know, lesson learned, especially when it comes out ace 7 to rainbow. We see none of that. We're out of position. We're going to check it to fold. Fold's going to check it. The ace comes, I accidentally clicked just to leave the table. I'm so disinterested in this hand. I should not have been in it. And puts out a value bet, 10 cents. We probably could have called there, but whatever. It comes, it would have been the king. We would have had nothing. So at that point, All right, Jack 3, small blind to us. We're going to put in the raise. No. And once again, I think, we could probably very easily limped here. Um, either or. And I think as we do this, we're putting more in the raise more in as a bluff than as an actual raise. Well, I think probably the answer here would have been limp, but so that was one we played wrong. So we're going to come in. We're going to get three calls, go three-way best way. Queen, 8, 2 clubs, dual tone, we completely whiff, though we do have the flush draw, the backdoor flush draw. Beard is going to raise it to 40. We got to decide what we're doing. I think we make the right call. We fold out, especially when nothing hits. We would have just been in a horrid place. And honestly, we should have just never been that hand to begin with, right? I think that's one of those things to kind of keep in mind and that you eventually learn, right? At first, it seems, oh, nice, I could just limp in here and, what's this? But then, you're at the turn, you're in a weird position, you got a little bit of money in the pot. So, I think it's just one of those ones you have to learn to have a little bit of strength to just aggressively fold, and not be into that thing. Well, oh, if this hits, I'm going to be big because, it's not going to hit. You're just going to be in an awkward spot. We're going to come to the next hand. We're going to be on the button. Queen 6 suited. Now, this is a little bit better, Main thing being here we're on the button. So, putting in a little bit of a min raise, not really much, but just, not limping. So that way we reflect we have something we can tell a little bit of a story. Two queen four rainbow gives us the potential backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw, and we get high pair, but we have a crap kicker. So something to keep in mind. We'll see what the action does as it comes around to us. We're going to see Perk actually raise it. We like that. We're going to go ahead and actually raise that again. See if we can get this down to heads up. So we're going to just over 3x his raise. Well, kind of basically just 3x his raise. He's going to call. Fold's going to fold. Now we're heads up. We see the 3. Once again, we hit on both of our draws. That's a great place to be. Obviously, we're losing to ace 5. A2 ace hearts and any other heart we're losing to if that hits. If the 5 does hit, we have the higher end of the straight draw than the 5-7. So we are definitely not in the lead here, though we've kind of been telling. And in fact, with Perk taking the. Now he's going to check to us. We're going to go ahead and put in a little bit of a bet here to kind of take back the lead on it. He's going to call. The 10 comes. It completely whiffs. None of the draws hit. And now I think we're in good, but I really want to get to the showdown here. Um, I say that as I then place the bet. I think the better thing here would have just been to get to the showdown. He's going to call, and we're actually going to lose as he had the better kicker. We should have just gone to the showdown. Major punt there. And that's where I think, we really just overvalued our hand. And we should have just gone there. All right, next hand 9-5 easy fold. We're in the cutoff. We want nothing to do with that hand. So we're going to continue coming along here. Next hand's going to be Jack 7 under the gun. Once again, pretty easy fold for us. This time we're going to see King 7 and the big blind. We're going to see it raised to us, 3x. I think this is one of those ones, we're going to fold it. We're playing it a little bit tight here after taking that beating. We probably could have played that small blind 6-2. We definitely, have nothing to play here. So we're going to fold it as well. Coming to the next hand, we're going to be on the button. We're going to have the pocket aces. Definitely where we're happy to be. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. So we're going to raise it up. Nice little 4x, 3x bet. And see if we can get some money in the pot here. Probably should have definitely been more aggressive here. 75 cents, a dollar. Definitely tried to have gone heads up. Now, we do see an ace come on the flop, especially in the window. That's beautiful. We're in a great place here. Kind of hoping someone bets into us. It checks. We're going to bet half, we're actually going to bet about 80 cents here. Probably could have been a little bit more aggressive or gone a little bit under just to try and get somebody else to hit something to come along with us. They'll all fold. We'll get a nice little 58-cent win on that one. taking us into our final hand, hand number 27, 6 suited in the cutoff. It's going to check around, it's going to limp around to us. Well, we'll see what nuts does. Nuts will fold. We're going to go ahead and put in the raise. Put in the min raise. We can see here 7-6 suited. Yeah, that's within our raising. We probably should have raised a little bit higher. We'll see beard with the re-raise. And this is where, we'll see what happens as it comes around to us. I don't really love this position. We're going to just go ahead and call and let it go to the flop. And, 8-7-6 comes. We have the backdoor flush draw, but more importantly, we do have the open-ended straight draw. 5 or 10 will get us there. We don't love our sevens counterfeit, though we do have now, mid pair. So we're not in a horrible place other than we're out of position. We check. Beards is going to bet. We're going to decide what we need to do. We're going to call. We probably should have been more aggressive here. The 6 comes. We've got 2 pair, though it's invalidated our straight, as now a 5 or a 10 gives it to anyone. So, you know, at this point we're thinking, okay, now there's a chance for a chop. The king comes, doesn't progress the board at all. We've got 2 pair. We actually think we're in a really good place here. We're going to put out a little bet. Beard is going to come back all in. We think he's trying to push us off it. We're going to snap call. He's got the pocket tens. He had the straight. And we just massively punted when we misread our opponent, right? As we look back now, we look back, let's see, we kind of see what he did on the river. He had that gut shot straight draw here. He bet it, we called, and then, he got it here. We checked. He decides to bet it. What was it? He bet it here? Yeah, he bet it here, or no, he checked it here. And I think that's one of those ones, I kind of took that as one of the things I'm really learning. I really took that as a signal of weak when he checked the turn. And I should have taken that as he hit it. He's now giving us a chance to get sucked in and doing a little bit of trapping. He trapped us perfectly. We just punted off. I mean, what did we start that hand off with? We just punted off a stack of 12. We just punted off our, whole stack, $12.80 one hand. Massive whiff. I think, really, we didn't do too bad except up to those last hands when we whiffed it. I think we definitely need to learn about our hand, our bet sizing. This recording is now a couple days old. Something I've really learned over my last couple sessions. It's something we want to keep in mind. So, well, folks, there you go. It might as well have been called football tryouts because that shit was some massive punts from across the field. Should be a field goal kicker or whatever. I don't know, some football analogy for you football folks. But hey, folks, that's gonna do it for another session. That's vlog number 2 of microfish to whatever we're calling it. I'm Jack X, and remember, folks, degen responsibly. Later.